Those Were the Days is filmed before a live internet audience. Hello and welcome into Those Were the Days. Those Were the Days, the show about classic television. And this week in the United States, it's Thanksgiving week. And so we are going to talk about one of the best Thanksgiving episodes of any show ever produced. I am your host, Travis, aka TV's Travis, but I can't do this alone. No. I might be the station manager, okay? But I need a smooth talking DJ like Audie.
So I was there with my dad at the mall, and we were going shopping after Thanksgiving. And then I heard a helicopter. I love helicopters. So we went to look at the helicopter, and then all of a sudden, things were dropping from the helicopter. And I said, Dad, what is that coming out of the helicopter? And my dad wasn't looking good. He was looking very sad. And then we saw it was turkeys. Saw it was a radio station dropping turkeys on people. And we saw one of the radio men right over there. Almost got him and made him pay.
Also, the head of the sales department, Amy.
All right, boys, listen. So, we've tried promoting the show on Twitter and on the Discords, and we've tried asking people to tell their friends and to leave us reviews. But have we considered dropping poultry out of a helicopter? I didn't think.
And finally, no radio station is complete without a lovely secretary, Stephen.
Well, I know we've enjoyed doing just fine, but I'm here to tell you that new management's stepping in, and I really want to contribute. Every other Monday is now going to be Spaghetti Monday, where we eat spaghetti on the air. And then the Mondays we're not eating spaghetti, I'd like us to, go ahead and start treadmill podcasting. I'm telling you, it's going to take off. I'm just letting you know that things are going to get great around here now that I'm in charge.
Oh, those couldn't have been better if I had planned them out that way. It's amazing. So this week, we are talking about the Thanksgiving episode from season 1 of a little show called WKRP in Cincinnati. It was a show that ran from 1978 to 1982, 4 seasons. I can neither confirm nor deny that I was named after Andy Travis from WKRP in Cincinnati. The timeline matches up. My parents were fans of the show. I don't know, but it's quite possible. I want to get everybody's kind of history if you're familiar with the show. I'm going to start with Steven. Do you remember WKRP? Did you watch it much?
I've watched like maybe 4 episodes in my entire life of WKRP. I don't know. It wasn't one of those shows that was on rotation on the channels I was watching. I think as a Nick at Night kid, which we all know by now, I think Nick at Night had like a 1 week random week where they showed old TV that they didn't normally play. And WKRP was one of those shows that they had on for a few days or a few nights. And I was like, this is good stuff. This is great old TV. Me and my 7-year-old PJs just going, this is good. I like it. It's for old people. And here I am enjoying it. It was, that's the most I had with it. But now, not to bury the lead, but I really want more of it, of this show.
Yeah. Audie, how about you? Or do you have much of a history with WKRP?
I really don't. This is my first time watching an episode all the way through. So, and this one in particular, I knew of. Like, this is, probably their most famous episode, one of the most famous Thanksgiving episodes of anything. So, I'd seen the segment of Les out there talking about what's going on and all that, but I hadn't seen the entire episode before. And oh, that adds so much more better context. Like, it just makes it that much better. But now this is my first time watching. And like Steven, I'm like, I could go for some of this.
How about you, Amy?
So I don't actively remember ever having seen it, but I do know my dad was a big fan because my dad was a radio DJ in college and a little after, and then he worked in TV, which is honestly not all that different, really.
Right.
At least on the back end. So I definitely remember, like, if you say WKRP. I'm going to say in Cincinnati. Like I know that part. I don't know that I've ever actually watched an episode before today though. So it's exciting.
It is. So I did watch it quite a bit. I can't remember what channel it played on, but I know it played because I can remember that opening jingle. I remember, Les Nessman and that name right there. But also, you had, as I mentioned, Andy Travis and Herb Tarlek, the sales manager, who this is our second time seeing Frank Bonner. He showed up in Just the 10 of Us, if we remember,
he
the
did.
show that we don't like to talk about. But he was in that. And Tim Reed is in this, and Tim Reed's great as Venus Flytrap. What a wonderful name.
What a name. It was so good.
Mhm.
And of course, Dr. Johnny Fever, Howard
Mhm.
Hessman. And
See-
this was a fun show. I really did enjoy it.
What was it? Oh, now I can't think of this stupid thing where he's the teacher, head of the class.
Head of the class, yep.
I'm
Yeah.
Howard has head of the class more, so it's funny seeing him a little younger in this show.
I remembered Head of the Class starting off and realizing that it was Dr. Johnny Fever was now a teacher in the Head of the Class. So, like, I enjoyed that. But this show was one that I couldn't tell you a lot. I don't remember a lot about it just because I was so young when I watched it, but I remember enjoying it. And then watching this episode reminded me of all of that. Just it's silly plots like this. It's just a little radio station in Cincinnati that when the series began, they were switching formats. So they switched formats to a rock station. That's when they brought in Dr. Johnny Fever. They brought in Venus Flytrap. They changed everything around. So the only characters at the start of the series, the characters of Mr. Carlson, Les Nessman, and Herb are all part of the station already. And they bring in all these new young people. So that's where they bring in Andy Travis and Venus Flytrap, and Bailey Quarters is Jan Smithers played her. And they were bringing in new life to this radio station. So there's a lot of like old guard versus new guard kind of things like that. And this was an early episode that was a ton of fun. Mr. Carlson, who's the station manager, the plot of this episode is great. He's bored. He wants to do stuff.
There's nothing worse than a board manager.
Oh yeah.
It's the worst.
And the opening of the episode is so good because he comes in for the morning, and here's Lonnie Anderson as the secretary, and she's sitting there taking the
Lonnie
phone call.
Anderson.
Yeah.
And they have the station running so well, they don't need him there. Like,
Yeah.
and Lonnie Anderson, Jennifer just doing everything and not even involving him. Like, no, he doesn't return phone calls. No, he's busy. He can't come to the phone right now. Like, she's sorting all the mail, so he doesn't have to do anything. And it's just, I love Mr. Carlson just getting more and more like, I want to do something. Herb, let me talk to Herb. And Herb in his horrendous suits.
Oh,
Those
yeah.
suits are
Mhm.
that
God, I
plaid
love
with
the
the elbow
70s.
patches and that
Ugh.
tie. Like, the tie was about 18 inches wide.
It was so good.
I don't know if it was the
Yeah.
first suit he was wearing or one later on where the tie was so big you actually couldn't see the knot.
Just straight down.
It was just straight tie all the way down.
Yeah,
But then
I'd much
Les-
rather have Andy's super tight than those stupid
Yes.
Oh yes, Andy Travis wearing the super medium shirt. Right?
Mhm.
It's like a size and a half too small. That was great. And then Les Nessman comes in, and so Mr. Carlson goes from Herb to Les. Like, Les, how you doing? Who wants to know? And Les Nessman. Great. Now, Richard Sanders, who played Les Nessman, is a voice that I know very well from later on because he ended up doing the voice of Bernard Bernoulli in Day of the Tentacle, which is one of my favorite point-and-click adventure games.
Yeah.
I knew
Oh,
Now I
okay.
get. Yep, that's where it's from.
Yeah,
I love when
it was picking at your brain, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out.
I love Day of the
I love when he
Tentacle.
asks him what's going on, and he just launches into his news report.
Yes,
Like,
Yeah.
that killed me.
and
I was
over
dying.
the weather.
It was
It's
so
so
good.
good.
The cadence he
So,
just
yeah,
dropped immediately into newsman. And there was one other
Yep.
thing that
Right.
cracked me up when he's looking when Mr. Carlson's looking through the mail, And she's like, "What's all this?" "Well, it's important stuff. It's not for you," or
Yeah,
something like
it's
that.
not for you.
It's not for you. It's
This
important
is for
stuff.
you.
And then hands him one thing. This is for you. So yeah, Richard Sanders as Les Nessman. Now, Mr. Carlson, Les Nessman, and Herb all came back in the spinoff of this, the new WKRP in Cincinnati. So this show ran from 78 to 82. And then in 91, they basically revived the show with those three and a new cast of characters. And
Wow.
did basically the same thing for a couple of years. And it wasn't quite as good, but it had its moments. It had a young French Stewart on the series,
Oh, wow.
as well as Michael T. Williams before he was Bubba Gump.
Oh, snap.
So-
There you go.
But yeah, so Mr. Carlson is he wants to be involved in the station somehow. So he goes to everybody. He goes into the one room and there's Venus and Bailey. And I love, he comes in and it's like, what are you doing? Nothing.
Yeah, the shifty eye, like nothing.
So you're off duty. That's great. And like the out of touch moment where Bailey is like, we're doing a giveaway. We don't know whether to give away the Boston t-shirts or the foreigner t-shirt. Oh, do the Boston ones. The foreign stuff shrinks.
That was so good. I mean, good choice anyway. I would have gone for the Boston T-shirt as well.
Yeah.
As a Boston fan.
Yeah.
But he's just going to everybody trying to. I loved when he goes into the control room while Johnny Fever's listening to the song, because number one, that was my dad. Like my dad would, where he'd just sit there and just listen.
Yep.
And I, having been a radio DJ, I would do that sometimes. You put on a prog rock song that's 18 minutes long, so you can just chill out and take a little nap.
My
and I love
dad's
when he does-
bathroom break song was Nights in White Satin, the long version with the monologue in the middle.
That's a good one. Yep. Or Inagata DeVito was another one you could
beautiful.
choose. So you got 18 minutes of drum solo. But he walks in and Johnny Fever's not moving. He does the whole, hand in front of the face, doesn't move. And then I love the insert shot where you just see his eyes move behind his sunglasses.
Yeah.
But,
It was him. It was Carlson trying to read the label on the record as it was
Yes,
spinning.
that was good.
he's trying to read that.
Yup.
He keeps hearing the dogs barking in the song and getting confused by it. And when he says, "Am I hearing dogs in this song?" and Johnny Fever's like, "Well, I am." So good. So he ends up coming up with an idea. He wants to do a promotion. So he says, all right, everybody is complaining about him now. Everybody's going to Andy Travis.
I was going to say, can we
complaining.
talk about the
And
complaining? Because
it's
scene,
important.
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
the complaining from start to finish was great. And it just kept getting better. When Venus comes in and he's like, he keeps trying to jive with me. What would he do?
He used to be afraid of me.
He used to
That
be
was
afraid of me. I thought it
great.
was a great relationship. Now he's like trying to talk and jive with me all the time. What
And
did
then,
he do?
then he drops it. Wanted to know if I needed anything.
Anything.
Like what? Watermelon.
Oh,
Oh my
no.
God.
So bad.
Wow.
I marked that off as racism. Check.
Yep.
But then
I
at least
love
that
when,
was like purposeful.
Sure.
Like
Yeah.
that was intentional. So we can go
And,
ahead.
and it's Tim Reed's delivery that sells that as a
Yeah.
great
Oh, yeah.
joke.
Oh yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's equal parts concerned, but also like kind of thinking that it's thoughtful at the same time. It's this weird thing that he's got going on. So that
He's
one,
a racist, but he's a thoughtful racist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
just everybody. And when Herb comes in, and Herb's like, "I need to
That-
talk to you about
oh my
Mr.
God.
Carlson. Get in line."
Get in
Like,
line.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Turns around and
Like, oh,
sees.
sure.
So he just goes and stands in line.
But then it's the deal that Carlson screwed up, right? With the
Yes.
pipe shop. And he's like, no, it's a front for selling illegal drug paraphernalia. It's like, where is this?
Yeah, Dr. Johnny
Johnny.
Fever's like, where's
where
this
is
pipe
it?
Where
shop?
is this place?
When
Yeah.
when
place
Johnny
at?
when Johnny Fever comes in, he's like, "I took this job for the same reason I figured he did. I'm not quite aware of what's going on all the time, and I sort of like that."
Mm-hmm.
Just everybody comes in, and then Mr. Carlson comes in as they're all in there complaining, and decides that now is when he's going to let them know he's got a great promotion lined up, but he can't tell them what it is. Doesn't want the secret to get out. But Herb, being the kiss ass that he is, immediately is like, I'm with you, big guy.
Oh yeah.
And he manages to con Les into being part of it too. And so he's like, what I need from you is I need your undying dedication, secrecy, and 20 live turkeys. And that's all he says. So no one knows what this is all about. Everybody's trying to figure it out. The next scene in his office is great because they end up getting when Jennifer comes in, my favorite part of that scene, because she has that job locked down to where she doesn't do anything she doesn't want to do. It's like she comes in, I need you to take notes on a press release. I don't do dictation. All right, I guess I can do it myself then. That's fine. Can you get me a cup of coffee? No. We discussed this.
Yeah, we agreed to this.
And then when she leaves, I love Les is like, how does she get away with that? And Herb is just like, are you kidding me?
Then I was like, sexism,
Obviously.
check. That's in there.
Yep.
I mean, it's all part of the
But
joke.
she's-
Like, it's all the butt of the joke. It's in the
Yeah.
good spirit. It's just like, yep, we went there. Okay, racism went there.
It is sexism, but at the same time, like Jennifer is in control of that whole
Oh
situation.
yeah, yeah.
Like,
It's
she's-
different.
She is using it all for her advantage.
Mhm.
Yep.
So then we get to the day of the event. No one knows what's going to happen. No one does.
Including us.
No.
No one has any idea. The audience,
They
most
send
notably.
Les out. Yeah, they send Les out on the remote,
Mhm.
Yep.
which they don't tell anybody why he has to be on remote. They tell that Johnny Fever is going to give the announcement, and Mr. Carlson tells Herb, I need you right there by my side. So they're all in the control room listening, and Johnny calls Herb, and Les, and Les is ready to go. And then they go live to Les, and he's
Well, let's
standing
not-
out front of the storefront.
Let's not skip over the whole promotion with the wigs, sending them to the Guatemalans, because that entire conversation had me on the floor. Like, I couldn't breathe.
It was like I forgot, because by the end of the episode, like I forgot that conversation happened.
Yeah,
That's how
because you
good-
haven't had
that's how good
oxygen
the
in
episode-
your brain for the last 10 minutes because you've been dying. But yeah, there was a whole thing about sending wigs. They had all these wigs for a big promotion, and they didn't end up being able to get rid of them. Nobody wanted them or whatever. So he sent them to earthquake victims in Guatemala because they needed like supplies or like rugs or
blankets and
something,
stuff.
blankets and stuff.
Yeah.
So the way Johnny Fever puts it, he said, all I can imagine was destitute earthquake victims in Guatemala. Quake victims stumbling through the rubble, all looking like Dolly Parton. I was just, I was no longer functional after that.
So,
Sorry, Travis. I couldn't.
no, it's fine. It's,
yeah.
I honestly, like, because of the end of this episode, like, I forgot about that.
Mhm.
That tells you how that's how good this episode is.
Oh,
That a
it's-
joke like that I can forget about because of what happened next.
Mm-hmm.
But they go to Les on his remote, and he's standing out with his microphone, and he's ready to go. And he barely gets started when the owner of the store pops his head and is like, "What are you doing here?"
Do you have a permit?
By the way, you have permission to be here? That actor, it's a
Mhm.
walk-on role. I recognized him right away. This is how my brain works.
Mhm.
I saw his face, and immediately I was like, "Holy crap! That was the actor that played a small role in 2 episodes of Firefly," and I remember him from those.
Amazing.
He played the character of Adelaide Niska.
That's who that was. Holy crap.
It's a weird superpower I have that I can't control.
I recognized him. I didn't think to look for him because of, turkeys, but holy crap.
So now Les is flustered, right? Because he just got accosted by this guy. He moves like 1.5 feet to the side, out, and he keeps going, and he starts talking about the crowd is gathering, and then he sees, and I love how Les has to read everything out,
Mm-hmm.
even though you know what it says. He sees the helicopter coming, and there's a banner behind it, and it says
God,
"Happy." Thanksgiving.
Giving.
And they cut back to the control room, and they're like, all like, come on. Just
Let's do it. Come on, Les. Because
So-
isn't Les the one who got the freaking banner?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
sure is.
So,
Yep.
I'm s-
exactly.
I mean, he's a news guy. He's trained to only tell what he knows. And until
That's
It
that
has to go with the
point,
prompt.
he only knows thanks, then giving, you know?
Mhm.
And
W
then WKRP.
A.
So all of this unfolds, and all we have is Les and the control room, and that's it. We don't see any of this. It's all told to us by Les Nessman. Suddenly, something comes out of the helicopter, and it's on its way down, but there's no parachute. Then there's more.
Parachuter,
There's
perhaps.
Yeah, perhaps
Yes,
a parachuter at
From
2,000 feet.
only 2,000 feet.
2,000 feet. And then there's a few more, but no parachutes deploy. And then, oh my, it's turkeys. Turkeys are hitting the ground.
Like
One is
sacks
going
of
through the
wet
windshield of a
cement.
car.
Wet cement got me. That's
That
when I
was-
was dying.
That was finally what pushed it over the edge for me, was they're hitting the ground like sacks of wet cement.
I was over. I was done.
So that was Mr. Carlson's brilliant idea, was letting turkeys go out of a helicopter. Live turkeys.
Live turkeys, because they do mention it's a black figure falling from the sky, not a not a flesh colored blob.
Nope.
This is a live turkey.
So all of this happens. We
I love
cut
how-
to like, oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I love how all of a sudden his feed cuts, and then Johnny Fever's just like, "Thanks for that, Les.
Just-
He's got to recover somehow.
Thanks."
Yeah.
So they cut that off, and we go to a commercial. We come back from the commercial. Andy's on the phone with the mayor.
Mm-hmm.
No, Mr. Mayor. No, look, I know there was property damage, but nobody got hurt. And then you cut that with Jennifer on the phone with the Humane Society.
Mhm. Oh, I know what the Humane Society does. Yeah. No. Well,
No.
not a lot of turkeys make it past Thanksgiving.
That line that killed me after.
So good.
That was the one that killed me a second time.
And then in walk Mr. Carlson and Herb, and they look rough.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mr. Carlson's hair at that point is great because he's got the balding ring,
Power
Yeah.
donut.
Mhm.
but one half of it was sticking up
Yeah.
and the other half wasn't. His suit is all torn. Herb looks like hell.
It should have worked. It was perfect. It should have worked.
I thought of everything. And on his way to his office, Jennifer's like, "Mr. Carlson, do you want me to get you a cup of coffee?" And he pauses for a second, and he looks at her and he says, "No, no,
We agreed.
we agreed." And he just heads for his office. And then Les comes in. We've already described several moments in this episode that broke us.
Mhm. Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
Nothing prepares you for the moment where Les walks in.
No.
Les, what happened? I'm not entirely sure. A father and his son tried to kill me. I had to hold up in a phone booth. After that, things get weird.
Yeah, as if it wasn't
Yeah,
weird
'cause
at that
was when-
point.
'cause they talked about, because they land the helicopter when they realize that dropping live turkeys out of the helicopter is bad. So they land and they let out the rest of the turkeys who seem to understand what happened and want vengeance.
It was like they were organized.
They mounted a counterattack.
Listen, all right, listen. Turkeys are scary, okay?
They are.
Bird
they-
friendliness is inversely proportional to size. And so help me, we eat turkeys out of self-defense.
Oh yeah.
This
Oh, we
is what it
absolutely
is.
do.
They're frightening.
just- The way Richard Sanders' delivery in this whole thing is just brilliant.
Oh,
And then
good.
Mm-hmm.
to end it, so after all of that, to end it all, is just Mr. Carlson comes out one last time, and he just stands there for a minute as the closing credits are starting to show. As God is my witness, I thought turkeys could fly. And that ends it.
It's a
I will tell you
masterpiece.
over Twitter, Facebook, whatever other socials I'm on, over 4 or 5 different social media apps. That was the one thing every single person responded to when I
Yeah.
posted we're talking about this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Every
is-
single person.
It is a brilliant piece of comedy. This whole episode is. And what I love about it is your classic sitcom where it takes place in 3 rooms
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and one outdoor shot that is probably a soundstage anyway, but that's it.
Yeah.
It's all in the performances and how they delivered those lines, and you just imagine, you can just picture this helicopter and then just turkeys dropping like bombs
So,
onto
like,
the
all right.
people.
Okay. But my question is, let's pretend that they could fly from 2,000 feet, because turkeys, like, all right, farm turkeys probably can't fly, but like turkeys can fly. I've seen them and it's terrifying. 'Cause they look like they should not. But my parents have a pretty decent flock of wild turkeys that live in the neighborhood, and like they roost in the trees at night and then they come down in the morning, and that is frightening when you haven't had your coffee yet. Watching that
Mhm.
happen. But okay, so let's say they could fly. What what I still don't understand what the end game was going to be in that point. Okay, so you throw them out of the helicopter and now they're flying. Now what? I don't get it. It's just not good.
No,
Yeah, I
no,
think
none of
Mr.
it is a good
Carlson
idea.
was just thinking, "Curiosity, we will be the most generous radio station ever. They will remember us for being generous." Instead, they
I-
remember us from bombing them with turkeys.
We missed the part at like at the very beginning of the like retelling of the recount of what is happening, unless it's like there's quite a crowd.
Yes.
Yeah, because they advertised that they were doing
Yeah.
something, but they didn't advertise what they were
What?
doing at all.
Quite a
So
crowd.
then it was just helicopter
think
comes
they
in
make-
and starts dropping bombs on them.
I
Like,
think they make a reference to it being the worst air disaster since the Hindenburg. I think they
Yes.
said that.
They
Yes.
And the
did.
best part is Les's delivery is that.
It's the
Like it is
Hindenburg.
the delivery.
Yes.
And it's
yes.
very good.
This episode might be the best episode of the show.
Yeah.
So we certainly are starting off on a high note. If you are going to watch, seek out and watch more WKRP.
It is rated 9.6 on IMDb.
Oh my
Dang.
god.
Yes, you don't get ratings like
impressive.
that very often.
No.
Not for TV.
Especially for a TV older show that you
Yeah.
you had to come to IMDb to rate this thing
Yeah.
Yeah.
long after.
Oh, this is
It is.
going in rotation for Thanksgiving holiday viewing for me. It's Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, WKRP in Cincinnati. We're going to do
Yeah.
that.
100%. It's so good. I
Mhm.
definitely recommend seeking out the rest of the show because there's only 90 episodes.
Yeah.
And most of them are pretty good. It's a lot of this kind of stuff. It's a lot of these silly things, Yes, you're going to deal with like Herb is constantly hitting on Jennifer. That's just a running gag, but that's him. Like he's
Mhm.
the smarmy, slimy sales guy. So that's what he does. And it was, late 70s, early 80s. Those were the jokes that got made.
Yep.
But Herb as a character, really funny.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that
Like she
constant.
doesn't care. Like she's like,
doesn't
yeah. She's like, here's your mail, and that's all you're getting.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
pretty
all I'll
good.
ever have for you.
Well,
Yeah.
it does the Archie Bunker kind of thing where this guy's making horrendous jokes and he's the butt of the joke. Like
Yeah.
it's
Right.
he's the moron,
Right.
which is the only way to do these kind of things, which is what there's the 10 of us failed to do. At least
Yeah.
from my perspective,
Gloriously.
it failed to do it. This, even with the sexism, it's like, okay, we get it. And then the racism, it's like, okay, the buffoon is the racist guy. It's always the person being a dummy that is the butt of the joke. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's done with like, Mr. Carlson's very out of touch because he's
Right.
an old time radio guy, and he's still wearing a suit every day while, Andy Travis is coming in his mini T-shirt and jeans.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at
And you
least
got-
it does
He's
tuck
by the
in.
way,
dressed people
That's true.
think
I was gonna
you
say though,
casually
he's
dressed
wearing those
people think
tight
you own this.
little
Yeah.
T-shirts in Cincinnati in November.
Well, if he grew
Yeah.
up there, he's probably
Yeah,
used
I was
to it.
about to say, listen, there are people here in the north whose entire personality is wearing shorts when it snows. So, yeah, you can do the tiny t-shirt.
I feel like they do that just to like prove something. I don't know what they're proving.
Mhm.
I got a buddy from Wyoming who wears flip flops when it's like 42, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you can be warm. It's okay.
Okay, but I hate
Mhm.
shoes though, so like I, you know,
Yeah, I
I've
mean,
been
I
known.
only knew one person growing up that did that, and he had a sweat problem where he didn't sweat, so he had to wear shorts
okay.
all the time to
Yeah.
regulate his body temperature. But
I get that.
Yeah.
Sure.
No, but there's a difference between wearing shorts when it's cold and being the shorts when it's cold guy.
yes,
There's a distinction.
Yeah, it's either part of who you
Yeah.
are and we just accept it, or you're trying to be that guy.
Mhm.
And we can tell.
Mhm.
We know.
Now, unfortunately, WKRP in Cincinnati is not available on any streaming services. I don't know if it's even readily available to purchase.
Yeah, I would
will
kill
check
for an
that.
actual either HD or standard definition rip of this, because what we got
Yeah.
was faces were very hard to make out at points on Facebook streaming service.
I watching it on Daily Motion, where it was flipped backwards.
Oh, good.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
To
nice.
avoid the copyright bots.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
So for some
Man,
reason,
I was at Cracker
only
Barrel the other
one-
week. I could have looked for it there.
Oh, yeah.
there's
But
only
Yeah.
one season of it available on iTunes to purchase. And
it's
that's
got to
it.
be the
Madness.
music. It's got to be because of music played during the show at the time.
Oh, you know what? That
Probably.
probably
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
music killed the Wonder Years for years. Like, you couldn't get
Mhm. A
Wonder
lot
Years.
of shows.
Mhm.
Yeah.
have
Due
been
South.
killed by that.
Is it Due South or no Northern Exposure?
Yeah, that
That
was
is the
another
You
one.
can't get anywhere.
Yeah. If you used licensed music,
South
you've got to
probably
pay
was
that
the
license
same.
again when you change
Yeah.
formats, and it's
What was
not
it?
pretty.
Was it Felicity or something where they like re-released it and changed some of the songs and people went nuts?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, songs aren't picked arbitrarily. Like, if
Yeah.
you're a CW show, you just pick the hot song at the time. Not to say
Yeah.
CW sucks, but let's just, it is what it is. And they just pick weird crap that's on the radio for the end of every episode of a thing. But, with
Right.
shows like this is hand-picked. Important.
Mhm.
Well, especially
Mhm.
late 70s rock radio.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Guitars, man. That was one of the things I wrote down in my notes when he was listening to the music just playing and like pretending to take a nap or whatever was going on there. I was like, man, I really miss guitars on the radio. Like real guitars that are singing to you,
Oh,
We
yeah.
don't do that
Mhm.
anymore.
It's definitely a show worth seeking out if you can find it. I'm pretty sure there's a DVD release out there floating around. Check your Cracker Barrels, your Walmart bargain bins, whatever you can find.
Mhm.
eBay, because it's worth it. The show's so
Oh
funny.
yeah, it was great.
It really is, and the characters are great. Like I will always remember Les Nessman, that
Mhm.
name. But if you hear, like, even if you've never seen the show and you hear the name Les Nessman, you have a picture in your
know.
head of what he's going to look like.
And you're
Yes.
And
right.
it's exactly what he
Mhm.
looks like.
Yeah.
The one other response I got on Twitter was somebody was like, Les Nessman. It's like, oh, we'll be talking about him.
Outstanding.
Oh, that's so good.
So good. And that was WKRP. That's the turkey drop.
Okay,
One of the best Thanksgiving episodes of a show out there.
one quick thing before we completely
yeah,
wrap
yeah.
this one up. According to the Wikipedia, Turkeys Away was based on a true story.
What? No. Nonsense.
So
No,
according to
that
the
sounds about
creator,
right.
he adapted Carlson from Jerry Bloom, the general manager of a station in WQXI in Atlanta, and recounted that the episode was inspired by a similar live turkey giveaway promotion by this person who tossed turkeys out of a pickup truck at a Dallas shopping center parking lot.
I mean,
According to the AJC, He said that following the disastrous promotion, he quipped, "I didn't know turkeys couldn't fly."
Oh,
Almost word for
jeez.
word. The public went nuts fighting over the turkeys, and it was a mess. And that was about the whole story, to my knowledge. The turkey drop was never repeated.
This is the best jokes are the ones that are just real life on fire. Yeah,
Mhm.
that is the best joke. That's amazing.
So one piece of trivia was after this aired, radio stations would start doing turkey drops, but they were gift certificates for turkeys that you could
Sure.
redeem.
Mhm.
It was ranked by TV Guide as one of the greatest episodes in TV history.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, easy. This is up
Can't
there
imagine
with
why.
this is up there with Vitamin and Vegemite in my mind. It is
Mhm.
just such a fantastic setup and punchline.
Yeah.
It goes and goes and goes, and you keep thinking you've heard the joke. I've heard it. It's over until, as God is my witness, I thought turkeys could fly. I'm like, they
fly.
nailed it. Like, just
Talk about a mic drop. Of a
Yeah.
line.
Yeah.
it could not have been more well done. I was blown away. I love these slow burn. It wasn't even a slow burn. It was just a fast burn all the way to like this killer joke. I love things like that. One of my favorite movies is Burn After Reading. It's a Coen Brothers movie because it's honest to goodness nothing but a 2-hour setup for a 3-second joke at the end, and it just I love everything about that stuff. That was one movie.
Yep.
I was literally bent over laughing so hard I couldn't even breathe at the end of that movie. In the theater, I'm like, I just don't even know what to do with myself right now. Go watch that if you haven't seen it.
It's a good one.
It's good stuff. Seek out Turkey Drop. Watch
Mhm.
it this week. You're
Yes.
welcome.
Yeah, watch it
And
on
thank us
Thursday.
later.
Mhm.
When you're sitting
Yeah.
there in a tryptophan coma, turn this show
Yeah.
on. That's
Yes.
do it.
We'll drop the link to the Facebook one on
Mhm.
Twitter or something.
Yeah.
So anybody
Yeah.
can go grab it.
Now next week we're going to start off a month of holiday / Christmas, whatever holiday we decide, episodes.
We can do multi holiday stuff. There's episodes of Hanukkah and episodes of Christmas and stuff. There's
Absolutely.
probably other
Sure.
stuff.
We are going to start off though with a certified bona fide classic.
Mm-hmm.
We're starting off with, if you're of a certain age, if you're our age, you
Yeah.
remember this aired every single year. You probably had it recorded on a VHS tape and you can remember the
Campbell's
commercials
soup
that played.
commercials and
Exactly.
the Folgers
Yes.
coffee where the kid comes home in the middle of the night and makes
Mhm.
coffee
Yep.
for his parents.
And that is Charlie Brown Christmas Special.
Oh man.
It is currently only available via Apple. So,
You can probably watch it backwards on like flipped left to right on YouTube. I've
Yep.
watched it there before.
I'm certain there are places out there, or just dig out your old VHS and find your tape.
Pop it in. I have it on DVD
Mhm.
also.
Oh.
Excellent.
I did. There was a brief time where they put out like all those old specials on DVD, and
I do
I
remember that.
purchased all of them. My little collection. They're like I have like a bunch of DVDs of just 30 minutes, and I don't care.
Mhm.
This is one that is near and dear to my heart, as
Mhm.
is a lot of people. The Charlie Brown Christmas Special is wonderful. And that's how we're going to kick off the month of December / very late November next week with a Charlie Brown Christmas Special. And I can't wait. I can't wait to talk about that, watch it again. Oh, I'm getting nostalgic just thinking about it.
Yeah, that might be one I watch with the family. Like we just sit down together
Yeah.
and watch it.
Oh, yeah.
This would be a good one.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that's what's coming up next week. Did we get any feedback this week?
Well, I was talking about it all through the episode because,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I said,
Yeah.
over social media, the most respondents I got was, "As God is my witness, I thought turkeys could fly."
And let's be honest, that is a quote to end all quotes. Like,
Mhm.
It's really good.
Yeah.
it was
I think
pretty
what was
great.
it? Jenny Josephson commented on it on Facebook, and she was like, "Me and Matt quote this every year at Thanksgiving. Like we just go back and forth." It's like,
It's
quality
things
stuff.
like the delivery of "Oh, the Humanity."
Yes.
This is the worst Ariel
Mhm.
since the Hindenburg, and then it just cuts out. And that's the best part. Is then the feed
Yeah.
just cuts out. And they're like trying to
Well,
get him back, and they're like,
thanks.
well, thanks, Les.
Yeah.
Oh, I cannot wait. So, and if you want to, send us feedback, you can. We're on Twitter while that still exists as
Mhm.
those days show. We also have those were the days show at gmail.com.
Mhm.
And Audie puts up amazing artwork every week. You're Les Nessman. You killed it with that. So good.
I had to.
That's great.
And I cannot wait to see what you come up with for next week. It'll be fun.
Me either. I
So definitely check all that out. And we will be back next week with the Charlie Brown Christmas special. So for me, for Amy, for Stephen, and for Audie, enjoy your Thanksgiving. Eat lots and lots of turkey or, whatever Thanksgiving food you want. And then take a nice nap. We'll see you next week on Those Were the Days.